Hi, geometry. We're entering this whole new world of trigonometry, which helps us solve for sides and angles of triangles. And we use these three main functions, sine, cosine, and tangent. And when we're solving for a side length, we use the regular sine, cosine, and tangent. But when we're solving for an angle, we have to use the inverse sine, inverse cosine, and inverse tangent. So I wanted to go over solving for an angle. So this is an example on Khan Academy. It's asking for angle B. So we automatically know we're going to use inverses. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. They're asking for angle B of a right triangle. They give us 2 and 5. So the first thing I would do is kind of identify what these sides are in relation to angle B. So what I'm meaning is like opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Kind of label those. So automatically, I can identify my hypotenuse. It's right across from my 90-degree angle. So I know this 5 is my hypotenuse. So I'm going to write an H here. And then that 2, it's right next to angle B. It's not the hypotenuse, but it's right next to angle B. So that's my adjacent side. Oh, that's an A. All right, so they've given me the adjacent hypotenuse sides. I need to determine which trig function is going to help me the most in solving for angle B. So I go to my acronym SOHCAHTOA. I'm going to write it down up here. SOHCAHTOA. Awesome. So this helps me because the letters each represent a side length and the trig function that it goes with. So is sine, and sine uses opposite and hypotenuse, the O and the H. Cosine, the C, goes with adjacent and hypotenuse, and then tangent goes with opposite and adjacent. So automatically A and H, I know that I'm going to use cosine because those are the side lengths I have, so I'm going to use cosine. That'll help me out the most. So normally we write cosine, COS, and that you'll actually see that on your calculator. And normal cosines, we input the angle, and we're going to output the side lengths. And for cosine, that is adjacent over hypotenuse. That's when we're actually solving for a side length. But when we're solving for an angle, we have to use the inverse cosine. And we write that like so. Cosine, and we put a little -1. And instead of inputting the angle, we're actually inputting the side lengths because that's what we're given. That equals the angle. So this is the equation we're going to use for our problem because we're solving for the angle. So I'm going to write cosine -1. And my adjacent side is 2. I'm going to put that in red. 2. Oh, it's not a 2. 2 over my hypotenuse, which is 5. That's what I'm inputting into inverse cosine, and that should output my angle B. So let's use our calculator here, see if we can find out what angle B is. So we're showing calculator. So we've got all this inverse stuff. We want to use inverse cosine right here. And it's in degrees, which is awesome. And we're just inputting 2 divided by 5. Close parenthesis, enter. And I get 66.4218. It says to round to the nearest hundredth, which is the second number after the decimal, so 42. We have to look to the right of 2 to see if it's lower than 5. It is, so we just leave it at 42, 66.42. 66.42. I'm going to write it though. So this equals 60. 66.42 2 is equal to angle B. Let's check it out. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do one more example, but in another video.